Hello and welcome to another Bearded Geek toy review. In today's episode, Game are at it again with more Marvel Legends bargains. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, and first of all, a quick apology for not having a couple of videos out the last couple of weeks. It's been a bit hectic, been a bit busy. Normal life sometimes gets in the way of doing this kind of thing. So apologies if you've been expecting some new videos. However, I do obviously want to say normal service has been resumed, or at least until the middle of August, and then we're away for a couple of weeks, going back to Florida in Orlando, having a nice Disney and Universal trip. I might throw in a few videos from there if I find anything good. I certainly do want to actually do a bit of a kind of like shopping on one of the days, and I did see somebody's online video, a big Indiana Jones fan, had seen that loads of Indiana Jones merch had dropped at Ollie's, which is a kind of like big kind of like discount store in America, which I think is similar to like B&M and Home Bargains over here. So if we do have the time, I might nip over there and see if I can pick up some more bargains. Speaking of bargains, we have this Marvel Legends series, Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest Heroes. The Captain Marvel versus Doctor Doom set. Now, you can see the price on there, $57.99. I did not pay that. Yes, you can see the other sale price on there, £24. I didn't pay that either. Online, it is £15. Now, if you order it online, obviously with Game being part of Sports Direct, it's a flat £5 postage for standard delivery, so that would take it up to 20 quid. So, being near my local game store earlier today, I decided to pop in, see if they had it, and see what price they were offering it, see if it was marked in the stores as 15, and it wasn't. So I inquired at the checkout. The guy who said, "Oh, let me just check," and he said, "No, we don't price match the website. The website's completely different. It's 24 quid. Fair enough. I walked away and then went to another game store that is actually in a Sports Direct, which is near to me. And I went in, they had that. I thought, go on, let's just chance it. Ask the same question, and if I get the same answer, I know it's the policy. Lo and behold, the guy behind the counter, very friendly guy, said, "No, of course we can price match." And that's what they did. As you can see here, £24, price match on website, 9 quid off. So it gave me it for 15 quid. You cannot say fairer than that. So a little shout out to the guy at the game store in Sports Direct. Thanks very much, mate. You were a star. And then the guy in the actual game store in my hometown, you need to brush up on your skills, mate, because I just think you couldn't be arsed. But there you go. So this is this set. This was released last year in celebration of 60 years of the Avengers. But you'll notice that Doctor Doom looks a little bit different. Yes, he doesn't look like the standard Doctor Doom, and this is the Marvel Universe version. This was Hasbro's 3.75-inch line that they did when they first got the Marvel franchise back in the late 2000s. And I've got quite a few of these, and I am going to do a review video giving you about the history of that line and how it basically was then phased out in favour of the 6-inch Marvel Legends figures. And obviously we've got a Deadpool one here. No, I have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet. I do plan to as soon as possible, and I have got a Deadpool figure on order, and I'm just hoping that he turns up before we go on holiday. It would be nice if he did, because we could then do a video on that. So we'll just move him to one side. These guys are not very good at standing up, unless you put them on stands. So I'm pretty sure. Oh no, his cloak's helping him. Anyway, so Doctor Doom looks different here, and the reason why he looks different is because he's the Secret Wars version of Doctor Doom, not that Secret Wars from a couple of years ago that Marvel did, but the original Secret Wars that was published 40 years ago today, and was the very first big crossover event in comics, and then kind of set the precedent for all these kind of like big crossover events that both Marvel and DC do virtually every year now. But the Secret Wars was the first, tied into the Mattel Secret Wars action figure range, because Mattel had the Marvel license back in 1984 and wanted a comic released to promote the toy line. Marvel were obviously a bit reluctant to do that, but in the end, editor-in-chief Jim Shooter decided to write it all by himself because none of his bullpen of writers pitched any good ideas. So he did it himself, and Mike Zeck did the artwork, and it was brilliant. And we also have the 80s version of Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, who obviously is, I think, now called Photon in the comics, because obviously, as we know, Carol Danvers has taken on the Captain Marvel name in the comics and also in the MCU movies. So unfortunately, she's been sidelined a bit, which is a bit of a shame. And in the movies, actually, it's not even Monica Rambeau who's Photon Captain Marvel. It's actually her daughter. So that's a bit of a swizz. They've sidelined that character. Big shame, because this is my Captain Marvel. And obviously, we all know the legality over the Captain Marvel name. Captain Marvel was really Shazam, who is now a DC property. Marvel, when they weren't publishing Shazam comics, decided to do a Captain Marvel, and then because they'd done it, they then sued DC when they tried to bring the original Captain Marvel back, and then obviously a court awarded Marvel the rights to the name Captain Marvel, which is why the original Captain Marvel cannot be called Captain Marvel anymore. He's called Shazam, or Captain Sparkle Fingers, or whatever, if you watch the films. So there you go. There's a 3D render of the figures on the side. There's a little 3D render of what they come with, and we'll look at that in more detail. Some nice comic artwork there from the 80s of Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, and Doctor Doom. And then a nice little Avengers logo on the top, celebrating 60 years of Earth's mightiest heroes. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. Let's open the package and let's look at the figures. So we got the two figures in, obviously, paper tissue bags, because this is plastic-free packaging, which Hasbro and have now gone back on. We've got a bag of little extras here, which we'll have a look at as we look with the figures. So first of all, let's have a look at Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau. Try and get her right there. And, oh, that's a brilliant figure. That's fantastic. Look at the crispness of that. Yeah, for me, obviously I was a big comics reader in the 1980s, and obviously that's when I first discovered the American actual originals rather than the British reprints, and also then discovered that there was two comic book stores in Manchester near where I live, and they became Forbidden Planet, obviously in the kind of like late 90s, but back then they were called Odyssey 7, and they had one store near the Corn Exchange, which was kind of like in the centre of Manchester, and then they had another one on the University Complex, which was the bigger comic book store near the University of Manchester, which was a bit further out on Oxford. road. So we used to sometimes like walk all the way down there and get huge piles of comics of what we could afford in pocket money. Yeah, great days. So this is my Captain Marvel. She was absolutely fantastic, and it was a great run back then in the 80s. It was rebranded the Mighty Avengers for a while, and then it was kind of like then rebranded back to just the plain Avengers. And then obviously you had the West Coast Avengers that spun off from that. So you then had 2 Avengers titles. So she's got some really cool, obviously, articulation here. You can move her arms quite much. She's got some pins in the back there. I'm not sure what that's for. Obviously, it's probably using the... I think that might be the upper torso of the Wasp figure for where the wings go. So it's a reuse of the upper torso there. But never mind. You know, you're not going to see the back of the figure, are you? She's got kind of like part of her costume that, you know, obviously fans out when she flies. It's a very kind of like 70s stroke 80s style costume, you know, which is kind of like, you know, very comic book styling with the black kind of photon star on the front. But yeah, this was my Captain Marvel, and obviously she was part of the Avengers lineup when obviously the Secret Wars comic was published in 1984, of which, like we said, it was a groundbreaking release. You know, it was done to tie in with the toy line that Mattel was releasing. But Marvel, you know, again, just as they had when Hasbro came to them and said, hey, you know, we've got this new toy line called Transformers. It's based on these Japanese, like, you know, shape-changing robots that we've acquired the license to, but we've got no names, we've got no history. Can you come up with it? And obviously, you know, it was the Marvel writers that came up with the names of Optimus Prime and Megatron, not Magneto, Megatron and Bumblebee and all the rest of it, and basically created the lore for the toy line. And you know, so it's always good because you know, it made that kind of like toy line for Mattel Secret Wars. It stepped it up because it wasn't a cheap cash in. The story of all these heroes, the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the various villains, Spider-Man, all getting kidnapped and being placed on this random world at the other edge of the universe and being told by this being called the Beyonder to essentially fight, and the winner will, you know, receive, you know, unlimited power and also be able to go home. So it was just a great story. I do recommend, if you've not read it, pick it up. Obviously, the other Secret Wars that happened a couple of years back was all about the Marvel universes and the multiverses, like kind of like dying, and I think that's what the upcoming Avengers film is going to be about, which is Avengers Secret Wars, which follows Avengers Doomsday, which is no longer called the Kang Dynasty. They got rid of the character Kang and they've replaced him with somebody else. But we'll talk about that in a bit more detail. Let's just have a quick look. Oh, so we have some extra hands here, fists, which obviously are the only other accessory that you get with the Captain Marvel figure. So you can have her posed with the fists, which I think I might do. And obviously they should just pop in and pop out easily. There you go. Just pop that in, nice. And I think she looks ready for action there with the fists. So that's cool. So I really do like that figure. She's going to look great on my Marvel Legends display. So that's Captain Marvel, or as she's known now, Photon, Monica Rambeau from the Avengers. Okay, so now we move on to the big new baddie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is Dr. Victor Von Doom. And this is a very cool figure. This is proper 80s retro vibes on this one. It's using one of the Iron Man bodies as a base, which is fine because kind of like this is exactly what the costume looked like that he donned at the end of the Secret War storyline in order to help him absorb the powers of the Beyonder. So it is an old body, and you can see the pin joints there on the legs and the arms, but it's got that nice metallic sheen to it, and obviously a lovely metallic sheen on the chest plate there, with some great paint detail of where obviously the detailed lines are. Fantastic. Obviously they've not done it on the back, couldn't be asked. But again, you're not displaying your figures from the back, are you? Well, yeah, come on, Hasbro. I mean, you know, just put a bit of black paint wash there. So this is obviously him when he has these powers. And he manages to actually finally takes off his mask and reveals himself to the heroes and the villains that once he's got the power of the Beyonder, and Doom is triumphant as he always is. Now you'll notice here he doesn't look anything like the actor they've cast as Doom. Well, he won't do because this pack was released a year ago. Yes, so let's just briefly talk about that. Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the MCU, but as Doctor Doom. I think that's a very canny and clever bit of casting. Yeah, he's going to be playing a villain. Yeah, he's going to be playing, obviously, not Tony Stark, so hopefully he should be playing it differently. Oops, and he's just fallen down. But yeah, let's just see what that entails. So he does come with some accessories. So we've got, obviously here, we've got his mask. You could have him holding as he's taking it off. Let's just see if that looks better in that hand rather than... he doesn't really hold it with either, to be quite honest. You can probably slip it between the fingers there. That's not too bad. But yeah, you could probably have him... What do you want to do? Stick the foam slightly through that and have him holding his mask up like that. That's kind of cool. So yeah, so you got the mask there, so he's in his unmasked state. And obviously he comes with two alternate hands, which are fists, which are great as well. Oh, he's about to fall over. But he also does come with a standard head, which is your typical traditional Doctor Doom hooded masked head, which what we will do is pop that head off now, and obviously his like curled up hood, which should be on there, comes off as well, and then we just pop this on here. It should pop on fairly easy, and there you go. That's your proper Doctor Doom there. I wonder if that's meant to be on as well. Probably wouldn't. Probably wouldn't. It'd probably get in the way. That's obviously how I'll probably be displaying him. And I probably will. Let's just change that. And then change that to a fist. Yeah, a fist, one hand. And obviously I shall be triumphant. Kind of like gesture there. So there he is. That's the Secret Wars version of Doctor Doom from the 1980s comic series, and also the toy version of the Mattel Secret Wars toy version looked exactly like this as well. Now I always wanted those toys, But as they came out in 1984, when I was 11, and then obviously later on in that year I then turned 12, I was constantly being told, you can't have any toys now, you're too old. So that's a bit of a shame there, but yeah, just look at that. That's really, really cool. I don't mind the fact that it's on an older body with the pinned joints. Obviously, Hasbro do their, cost cutting and do their, using different body parts on different figures. It's all part of the action figure process. But there you go. I think he looks fantastic. And hopefully, when we do see Doctor Doom in the MCU, he will traditionally look more like his comic traditional self. That's like that. He's like ruler of Latveria, kind of like standard costume. So yeah, but there you go. Great figure, great pair of figures. Absolute bargain. Like I said, if you go into a store and it says £24 and it's labelled up as that, just tell them, look, it's £15 on the website, and they should price match it. But £15 for 2 Marvel Legends figures, you cannot go wrong with that at all. That is an absolute bargain. And 2 great figures full of 80s nostalgia for you comic book readers out there. And like I said, hopefully the Marvel Legends Legacy 6-inch version of this guy will come along very, very shortly, and we'll get a review of him done as soon as we can. But there you go. There's the Marvel Legends series, Avengers Captain Marvel versus Doctor Doom twin pack. A great set and a great price if you can pick it up for that at your local game store. Well, thank you for watching, and if you like that video, then please leave us a like. It really does help out with the algorithm of the channel. And if you've not yet hit that notification bell or that subscription button to be subscribed to the channel, then please do so, because again, it really does help us out. And thank you very, very much for everyone who continues to subscribe to the channel and watch and share and all that kind of bump, because it really is appreciated. And I love seeing my subscriber numbers go up and up and up. I'm just really, really touched that you guys, girls, and everybody else likes watching the channel. So thank you very, very much. Lots of cool stuff still to come, but in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you very, very soon on Bearded Geek Toy Reviews. Bye now.